supposed to get to Atlanta and get on a 2:30 flight. Okay. I didn't make that because my flight from New Orleans got backed up about an hour, so it missed my connector there. So then I was supposed to fly out at 3:30 out of Atlanta. That flight didn't take off till 4:30. Didn't land till after 6, or about 6, and then we sat on the runway for about 30 minutes because they didn't have a gate ready for us. So that was about 6:30 at that time, and then luckily my bags were like the first 2 out, and then there wasn't much traffic to get here, and rolled in about 7, was in the dugout by about 7:10 maybe.
So how many swings in the cage, and how'd you loosen up?
Yeah, it was honestly kind of a typical day for not starting, just to be ready. You know, I usually try to get loose around the 4th or 5th inning, just in case, obviously, depending on how the game's going. And so I was on time for that, and just knew the way baseball works that I could be called upon at any point, you know, no matter what. So I just went in the cage a couple different times, made sure my body was loose, and kind of got all that flight out of me, and felt good going into my at-bat.
Obviously, the big slide at second, beating that, getting the third, and, you know, manufacturing a run. We saw a lot on the bases before he even got in the game. You know, just is that kind of how? Not that's how you play, but it's how.
Yeah, it's just the way I was taught to play the game was play aggressively. Obviously, in that situation, we're kind of in a no-run situation, but looking for a dirt ball read, and kind of read it well, but then Jon, you know, being as good of a catcher as he is, kind of got to it a little quicker than I expected, and knowing he's got a really good arm, I had to make sure I was going to get there. But the play at second, I just tried to stay low, slide right into the bag, and fortunately he was okay, and we kind of bumped into each other a little bit, but he was okay.
Yeah, that could have been a lot. You know?
Yeah, no, I was, like I said, I was staying low and trying to stay right into the bag, and slid right into the bag, and may have surprised him a little bit how quickly I got there, but you know, I wasn't trying to do anything other than get to second base.
You've been in reaching base pretty consistently, you know, down there, and you know, again today that was a big time to get on again and create something or some traffic. Just how much did you benefit from? You know, from spring training this year, just how much carry over from just your approach?
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout my career, you're always trying to build that approach and that discipline at the plate. And honestly, I'm just trying to get a pitch that I want to hit in a zone that I want to hit, and try to do damage on it. And if that pitch is outside of that zone, doing my best not to swing at it, you know, until I get to 2 strikes, and then you battle from there. But I think you develop that as your career moves up, and you kind of continue to grow as a hitter, and so that's all I've been trying to do during spring training, during the season in New Orleans, and then in that there.
You saw Mizrahi, you know, for a while, scoring from the second on the side, fly, from hitting it off the wall, you know, just how you guys kind of use the speed elements tonight, your bases tonight, you know, just how.
No, that's awesome. That was Ike hit that ball really well. Outfielder obviously made a really nice play, center fielder, and I believe it was Rosie who scored from second, correct?
Yeah.
And he, you know, great heads up play by him to hustle and pick up Freddie, and that's really cool to see. I mean, I think Billy Hamilton did it earlier this year, and I remember seeing a replay and being like, man, that's pretty cool. Get a sac fly going around second base, and then to be here and see those guys do it was pretty cool.
You made the MLB debut last year. You got that experience, but getting back up here, what's that like to be back up here right now on the show?
I mean, this is obviously where you want to be, is here, and really fortunate to be in camp with these guys and get to know them, and it's a good group of guys. So nothing but warm welcome from them, and makes you feel good to get back here and see the guys that you know grinded with during spring training for 6 weeks, and just excited to be here.
Is it the kind of thing where, since, you know, it's also kind of chaotic with the plane flights, you know, staying on there, jumping in mid-game, that it's kind of, hasn't hit you completely? I know that you've been here before, but like you just jumped right into it, skipped all the pleasantries.
That's
you know?
kind of how my big league debut was last year, and so why wouldn't it be this way? You know, this come around. But no, I mean, just being through it, and you know, baseball's such a crazy game that you never know what's going to happen. So you just have to always do your best to stay ready.